Are you curious to know what hidden truths Tu Tien and Jack will uncover after the storm? Secrets that may spark a brand new hope? Episode 20 invites you to follow their journey, step by unexpected step. In the early morning light, Tu Tien gently pushed open the bamboo door of the small hut she was temporarily staying in. A crisp chill slipped through the gap in her coat, making her shiver slightly. Though life was still full of challenges, she remained steadfast, whispering to herself that she would get through whatever obstacles lay ahead. After a few deep breaths, she quietly stepped toward the backyard garden. The banana clusters hung full and round, their peels just beginning to blush a soft yellow, ripe and ready. With a small knife in hand, she carefully separated each bunch, laying them gently into a bamboo basket lined with fresh banana leaves. The deep purple-green herbs, neatly planted along the footpath, had grown tall and lush. Tien gently picked the leaves one by one, bundling them into neat stacks and tying them with thin twine. The work wasn't light, but her heart felt warm. She was earning her way through her own quiet resilience. Once everything was ready, she wrapped the basket in a soft cotton towel to protect it from damage, then slipped on her conical hat and headed out. The path to the market cut through open fields. Though it was early, a few people were already making their way down. Now and then, familiar faces passed by, greeting her with a smile. "Out early again, Tu Tien? Got anything fresh today?" she replied cheerfully, with a hint of pride. "Tree-ripened bananas and freshly picked perilla. Come by and take a look." At the market, she chose a spot along a busy walkway. She rolled out her small mat and carefully arranged the banana bunches and perilla bundles. Every now and then, she straightened a few leaves or shifted a banana bunch into better view. When someone stopped to browse, she greeted them with a friendly smile. 20,000 for a bunch of bananas, 5,000 for each bundle of perilla, auntie. All homegrown, clean and fresh, I promise." Curious shoppers crouched down to take a closer look, admiring the golden bananas and fragrant herbs. One woman opened her purse and immediately bought 2 bunches and a few bundles of perilla, prompting Tu Tien to wrap them carefully while offering tips on how to keep them fresh. As she held the money in her hand, a soft joy bubbled in her chest. It wasn't much, but it was the first hard-earned reward of the day, and so she continued, selling with quiet determination, smiling warmly at every customer, holding on to her belief that better days were still ahead, just waiting to be found. Jack sat on a wooden chair in the living room, eyes focused on his laptop screen, finishing up a construction site report to send to a business partner. Just then, his mother entered with Miss Thu and Giang. They brought along baskets of fresh produce, chatting about the recent relief efforts as they placed the baskets neatly by the table. His mother spoke up with gentle concern. "Jack, take a break from work for a bit to welcome our guests." He nodded slightly, typed a few more lines, then closed the laptop and stood to greet them. Miss Thu poured water into a few glass cups and said, "Life is still hard for many families after the storm. So many houses collapsed, land eroded. Thankfully, with the help of volunteers, things are slowly improving." Jack nodded. "I'm doing my best to speed up our projects. It breaks my heart seeing people living in such rough conditions." Giang, a slender young woman, removed her wide-brimmed hat and added, "I really want to help too, and I hope the villagers can rebuild their lives soon." Miss Tieu glanced at Giang with a subtle smile, while Jack, a little flustered, replied, "I'm almost 30, but with so much work, I haven't had the time to think about settling down." To ease the slight awkwardness, Jack's mother invited everyone into the kitchen to prepare dinner. The kitchen was tidy, and the aroma of steaming rice made the atmosphere feel especially warm. Jack helped his mother wash vegetables, occasionally asking Ms. Phuc about her recent trip surveying rural areas. Giang lit the stove to prepare a pot of soup, and shared that she had just returned home after some time away and was hoping to find a stable job to support her family. Jack said, "I know a few companies that might be hiring. I'll see if any positions suit your background so you can work closer to home." Giang smiled gratefully and added that she'd love to visit the construction site someday to better understand the work. Once the food was ready, Jack's mother set it on the wooden table near the window. Dinner included steaming sweet leaf soup, savory braised pork and boiled greens. As they ate, Miss Thu spoke about the villagers she'd met. Everyone was hoping the post-storm recovery would finish soon. Jack mostly listened quietly, offering brief replies, and then turned to ask Giang about her thoughts on community projects. His mother, seizing a timely moment, gently nudged the topic of marriage again, but Jack just smiled, saying he still had a lot to handle. Giang remained silent, a trace of hesitation in her eyes, but she didn't want to pressure him. As dinner ended, they all helped tidy up. Everyone knew there was still a mountain of work ahead, but for that evening they set aside their worries to enjoy a rare, warm moment together. Since the break of dawn, Tu Tien had been busy preparing some fresh fruit and leaf-wrapped cakes, planning to bring them to Jack's house as a small thank you for his help the other day. But as she reached the gate, she caught a glimpse of Jack and Giang sitting together on the porch, laughing softly, their faces lit with ease and familiarity. The warm, comfortable sight slowed her steps. Instead of walking up to greet them, Tien suddenly felt out of place, as though her presence might intrude on a moment she didn't belong in. She told herself, "I'm just dropping off a gift. There's no need to see him directly." That thought pressed her to gently leave the bundle on the front steps and quietly turn away without saying a word. Jack's mother happened to step out from the kitchen just in time to see Tu Tien's figure retreating in the distance. "Was that Tu Tien? Why didn't she come in?" she asked aloud, puzzled. But the girl was already too far to call back. Inside, Jack was chatting with Giang about his plan to help villagers recover after the storm, and how he hoped to support Tu Tien's small business. Giang placed a hand lightly on his and smiled. "You're always so thoughtful. Tu Tien seems like a sweet girl. You must care about her a lot, right?" Giang simply replied, "She's independent, hard-working, and deserves respect. I just want to offer a bit of help. She's going through a lot." On her way back to the farm, Tu Tien's thoughts were tangled. She wasn't angry or upset with Jack. It was just a fleeting sadness that lingered after seeing that moment between him and Giang. She sighed to herself. "I have no right to feel this way. They've known each other far longer." Still, Jack's smile and the sparkle in Giang's eyes replayed in her mind, making her feel small and ordinary. That afternoon, Tu Tien sat on a bamboo chair by the porch of the farm, gazing out over the lush green rice fields. As the wind rustled through the leaves, her thoughts drifted toward the future. Maybe I should just focus on working hard, getting my life in order. If love is meant to come, it will. Though she tried to stay strong, she couldn't quite shake the quiet ache that stirred when she thought of Jack. There were moments she wished she could speak openly about the feelings she kept hidden, but fear always stopped her, fear of being hurt. In the end, Tu Tien slowly stood up, brushing the dust from her hands. She told herself to let go of those wandering thoughts. She still had a long road ahead, filled with responsibilities and challenges she had to face on her own. At first light, Tien was already up, hurriedly harvesting the morning glory growing behind her house. As usual, she bundled them into neat handfuls, each priced at 5,000 dong, and packed them carefully into 2 woven baskets. The ripe banana cluster she had cut down the night before sat ready under the porch, waiting to be sold at the market. A sudden downpour soaked the red dirt road, turning it slick with mud, but Tu Tien still pressed on. She threw on a thin green raincoat and waded through the slippery paths to reach the marketplace. By the time she arrived, the scene was quieter than usual, the rain having kept many away. She smiled and greeted a few familiar faces, then quickly picked a dry spot to set up her stall. The freshly picked greens and golden bananas typically drew in customers, but today the wind and rain discouraged shoppers from stopping. Tien bit her lip, debating whether to lower her prices to sell quickly, but hesitated. Slashing prices so early in the day might make it hard to maintain her rates later on. Every so often she wiped the raindrops from her forehead and did her best to smile at passers-by. Suddenly, a familiar voice broke through the rain. "How much for a bunch of bananas, Tu Tien?" She turned and saw Jack standing nearby, holding a black umbrella. He examined the banana cluster, touched a bunch thoughtfully and said, "I heard it's 70,000, but I'll give you 100,000. Could you help distribute the rest to some people in need here at the market?" Tu Tien blinked in surprise, then nodded, asking softly, "Why buy so much? What if you can't finish them all?" Jack smiled. "I can't eat them all, but I know there are others who could use them. If we can help someone, we should." His words warmed her heart. She exhaled, a small wave of relief passing through her. Noticing the rain falling harder, Jack gently lifted the umbrella over Tu Tien, shielding her from the wind and droplets. That simple gesture, quiet, unspoken, eased the heaviness in her chest. "Thank you," she said softly. "I really thought I wouldn't sell anything today. I'm glad you came." He nodded, keeping the umbrella steady, reminding her to pack her goods soon so they wouldn't get soaked. As Jack stood there, silently shielding her from the rain, Tu Tien felt an unexpected comfort. Though the storm still fell steadily around them, the space where they stood seemed warmer, safer than anything else in that quiet, damp morning market. The rain continued to fall in a light drizzle as Tu Tien sat quietly at her small market spot, trying to sell the last few bundles of vegetables. Her heart wavered with worry, afraid she wouldn't sell them in time. Just as she was fumbling with her goods, Jack appeared carrying 2 boxes of sticky rice and 2 cups of warm drinks. With a gentle smile, he said, "Eat some 10,000 dong per box. Rainy days like this, I'm afraid you'll get tired and worn out." In that moment, Tu Tien felt a quiet warmth spread through her chest. Someone truly cared. She lowered her head to thank him and slowly opened the box, her eyes hesitant but full of emotion. "Thanks to you, I don't feel so lonely on rainy days like this." Jack nodded with a soft smile. "Work at the site is busy, but I wanted to check in on you, especially in weather like this." They sat together, enjoying a rare moment of warmth amidst the dampness of the morning market. Jack shared updates about the roads damaged by the storm and the urgency to repair them. Tu Tien spoke about how difficult it was to sell perishable vegetables in this weather. Seeing her struggle, Jack offered gently, "Why don't you come work at the construction site with me? It'll be steadier, and you won't have to worry about the rain or leftover produce." Tu Tien's heart fluttered. The offer was tempting, less hardship, more stability, but doubts crowded her mind. If he helps me, life might be easier, but could I handle the work? Would people judge me? She finally replied in a quiet voice, "I'll think about it. I do want something more stable." Just then, Giang and Mia arrived, ducking into a roadside cafe to escape the rain. The 4 of them sat together, ordering icy yogurt and coffee. Giang smiled warmly and greeted Tu Tien, saying she remembered seeing her once at Jack's house. "I was impressed. Jack always says you're hard-working and kind." The compliment caught Tu Tien off guard. Her cheeks flushed pink, and a soft joy bloomed inside her. "He really talks about me." Mia, sitting beside them, occasionally glanced at Jack and Tu Tien, teasing them with light jokes that filled the space with easy laughter. Later, they took a few group photos for memory's sake. Jack glanced at his watch and offered to take Tu Tien back to the farm early since the rain was still falling. Giang started to suggest tagging along, but Jack politely declined, promising another time. Tu Tien sensed something in his tone, something quiet and special meant just for her. Her heart raced, full of nervous joy. On the ride back, the sound of rain tapping on the car roof created a soft, comforting rhythm. Tu Tien stole a glance at Jack and silently thanked the universe for his presence. In that moment, she felt hope. Hope for a life a little lighter, a little steadier, walking alongside someone she had grown to quietly cherish.
Tự Tiên đứng đó, lặng lẽ nhìn chồng cũ và cảm nhận rằng từ nay mọi thứ đã chấm dứt, không còn mái nhà, không còn tài sản, không còn chút tình nghĩa xưa, chỉ còn lại nỗi đau. Chắc đắn quyết định chia ly với quá khứ, Tự Tiên siết chặt chiếc áo cũ kỹ, cúi đầu quay lưng rời đi. Trưởng thôn mặc dù đầy tiếc nuối nhưng bước theo chân cô để lại sau lưng gia đình bạc bẽo, một cuộc đời cay đắng. Tự Tiên ngồi thu mình bên hiên nhà, đôi bàn tay gầy guộc run run ôm lấy gối, nước mắt lặng lẽ chảy dài trên đôi má hốc hác. Cô không còn đủ sức gạt đi những giọt lệ tủi nhục, chỉ có thể lặng lẽ cúi đầu đi, giấu đi nỗi đau dâng tràn trong lòng ngực. Những tiếng cười nói rộn ràng trong nhà vọng ra như nhát dao cứa vào tim cô, trong khi người đàn bà mới được rút về đang tận hưởng cuộc sống. Sự chăm sóc chu đáo từ mẹ chồng, ăn ngon mặc đẹp, được cưng chiều như một bà hoàng, thì cô vẫn nai lưng làm lộn như một kẻ ở trong chính căn nhà mà cô từng coi là mái ấm. Mẹ chồng chưa bao giờ dành cho cô một ánh nhìn thương xót